Hey family, just stopping by with some encouragement for your spirit today. Life can feel draining, but remember God's love is a well that never runs dry. Even in seasons of weakness, His strength is your supply. If these videos lift you, hit the like, tap the subscribe, and drop a word of encouragement in the comments. And don't forget to share it. It might be the very hope that someone else needs. Thank you for all your support, and I really, really appreciate you. Now, let's dive into it. A few minutes for us, underdogs and strugglers in the Bible. My name is Tony Lewis, and here I am again, y'all. And it's my plum-pleasing pleasure, as usual, to share with you today a few minutes for us. The U is for underdogs, and the S is for strugglers in the Bible. Let me tell you about the 31st biblical character we will look at today. It's Jeremiah, the weeping prophet. Jeremiah, the weeping prophet. He journeyed with a just God. Oh, let me say that again. He journeyed with a just God. Let me tell you about his story. It's in Jeremiah's chapters 1 to 52. He was called, commissioned, and courageous. He was called, commissioned, and courageous. He was chosen a child. He was called by God before he was even born. What? How did that happen? He was chosen to be a prophet to the people. He was commissioned to be a communicator. Though he was a young buck, he was commanded to speak boldly and not fear faces. He was a courageous crier. He cried out against corruption, calling kings and common folk to turn back to God. Check it out. Check it out. Let me tell you about his struggle. He had sorrow, silence, and suffering. Sorrow, silence, and suffering. He was scorned as a speaker. People shamed and shunned him, discredited and despised his message. Ministers misjudged him, and leaders hated him. His crying out, my goodness, mean folk. He was a solitary and sorrowful servant who stood alone in tough times. He suffered in his soul. He was broken, bound, burdened in his body. He was rejected and ignored. Hold up now, hold up. Now, let me tell you about this brother's success. He remained steadfast, spirit-led, and scripture-shaped. Let me say that again. He remained steadfast, spirit-led, and scripture-shaped. My God, that's good, ain't it, y'all? He was steadfast in his stand. He didn't waver. His words were weighty, and his witness was unwavering. He received spirit-led strength, and God fortified his faith and filled him with fire and fashioned him for endurance. He kept getting up. He became scripture-shaped legacy, and his writings became part of the Holy Scriptures, warning and wooing generations. But what is the lesson? What is the lesson? God calls us to speak the truth, even in the face of rejection and sorrow. God calls us to speak the truth, even in the face of rejection and sorrow. So remember, when you struggle, when you feel small and scared, weak and withered, all shriveled up, when you face shame and shouting from your haters and feel mocked and messed up in your mind, my goodness, and people are laughing at your faith and ignoring your message that you're giving from God, when you suffer sorrow and carry heavy grief, when others give you the silent treatment, they ain't saying nothing, They're freezing you out. You ever been there? When you sense a spiritual strain and life gets hard and you feel like quitting everything on everybody, everywhere, because you're tired of trying. You ever been there? Remember when you succeed, when you stood strong in the storm, even when you're hurting, and you held on your hope. That's right. When you spoke in the power and strength of the Spirit and your words carried God's truth, even when others resisted. When you stayed faithful and consistent, even when you felt weak and worn out. When you saw God's sure salvation because you trusted His promise and received a new heart and new hope. Remember the lesson. God calls us to speak the truth, even in the face of rejection and sorrow. God calls us to speak the truth, even in the face of rejection and sorrow. To God be the glory. I'm out, y'all.